Hi, Andrea. It's so wonderful for you to be here today, and I'm so excited for you to share your experiences of working with me. The difference in you from when we first started, when we first met each other, to now is just an incredible story, just on its own. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. It's just incredible. And so the first question I'd like to ask you really is, what did you want my help to overcome? And what was life like living with that issue?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me. It was nice to be invited. Always nice to speak to you.
Great speaking to you too.
So the problem was I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune disease, also known as inflammatory bowel disease. So life with that is really difficult because I couldn't process food properly. So I couldn't keep any food in me. It causes some pretty nasty symptoms, which I don't know if you want me to describe.
It's you.
Okay, so you get, this is really a bit key, you get chronic diarrhea and past blood as well, and a lot of pain. It's kind of like a constant ache with sharp spasms. That's the best way I can describe it. During the night, it can cause like disrupted sleep cycles. Like you can't sleep basically. Like I was getting up every hour to use the bathroom during the night. And also like you get night sweats as well. And achy joints as well, which was quite strange because you think like it's focused on the colon. It's a problem with the colon. You get ulcers inside the colon, which are very painful. But for some reason that affects joints in your body. So like on one time my hips seized up, so then I couldn't walk. Another time that the pain shifted to a shoulder. So then if I turn around like at night in my sleep, like that shoulder was in agony. Affected the way that I could move my neck even. Like I felt like an old lady basically, and I'd lost so much weight. I'm very small anyway. I'm usually around 7 stone 4, and I'd gone down to 6 stone. So I looked very skeletal, and just so tired all the time. Because I wasn't keeping in any food and taking any nutrients from the food, so I had no energy to do anything. Like just talking was hard enough.
It's been horrendous.
Yeah, it was.
So what had you tried before working with me?
So I'd only just been diagnosed, and I was on what they call steroids. So the steroids allowed me to take food into my system, but then they cause a lot of other side effects. So when I came off the steroids, all the other symptoms just come back straight away. So it wasn't gone. Yeah, and so then I was also on immunosuppressant medication, which basically just means it shuts down your immune system, because what the doctors say is that it's your immune system overreacting. So it's getting triggered somehow by food, and it thinks that food is the enemy, and it tries to eliminate it, and causes ulcers in the process, which didn't really make any sense to me at all. So you kind of just listen to the doctors and just take the medication, which is really strong, powerful medication. You basically shut down your immune system. Then you're liable to pick up other bugs and germs that go around. So you're just constantly ill anyway. So yeah, I tried that. Yeah, and I'm still having occasionally, it did help, but I was still having occasional flare-ups, and I just wasn't myself anymore. In the past as well, I'd had just like talking therapy, like CBT for anxiety, because anxiety can be a trigger to the IBD as well. That's it.
So why did you decide to work with me?
I honestly don't know. I don't even remember how I saw you. It must have been on Facebook or Instagram. I saw you online somewhere, and I don't know. I just got a feeling of like, wow, I think this woman can help me. Like, and I've seen other people before, like advertising, not the same program at all, like very unique in that way, but similar things like hypnotherapy or other talking therapy, psychotherapy, other alternative things. But I don't know, there was something about you and the way that you spoke, and like I read the story about how you helped your daughter, and it just seemed like there was a personal aspect to it that you understood. You would know, like, I have an autoimmune disease, your daughter had the autoimmune disease, you were able to cure her, and I just had total confidence that you would be able to do the same for me.
So what was your experience of working with me?
Oh, it's lovely. It was like talking to a friend. It was like, I don't know, I feel like we just clicked straight away.
We did, yeah.
So easy to talk to, so non-judgmental, and you just like the way that you explained what was going to happen and in the order that it was and what I needed to do. It's like, it was really reassuring in the beginning. You got such a gentle manner. Like, it was kind of like, yeah, and I just was looking forward to like our next sessions and being able to tell you like how well I was doing. And
yes, it was. Well, even the first session was amazing, wasn't it? Because I don't know whether you remember, but there was a big breakthrough after the first session, wasn't there?
Yeah. It was like, it's so like the program, like it just works so fast. Yeah.
It did for you. Not always, but yes. And sometimes it can be gradual, but for you, it was like switching on a light bulb, wasn't it? Or off, or whichever. And it was just incredible. So what's your life like now after working with me? So we did have several sessions, but what's your life like now?
I think before I answer that, I think it's important to go back and say that before I got ill, my life was on a very different course. I was hoping to become a social worker, so I was doing the master's degree, just started it. I just left a very stressful work situation. I loved the job itself, but there were elements of the job that were really stressful. I just left a very difficult relationship. I'd moved to a new place. I had so much going on, and then I had the illness. I didn't really know where I was or what I was going to be doing. So I never imagined that like my life now was going to be how it is, because it's just so calm and peaceful, and like I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I'm not chasing this big career idea that I had before. I'm working as an artist, something that I did in the past and wasn't successful at, but I'm giving it another try. I just feels this time around, it just feels right. It's the right time to do it.
Painting is on my wall, actually.
Yeah, I've done a painting for you. That's right. All about my recovery. And I've got a different social group, even like some like new friends that I've made. I've like joined different groups and stuff online, and I'm a lot more confident now about like what I'm doing. And I'm kind of losing track now. You might have to edit that bit. I've got like a new relationship, which is like, it's going really well. It's lovely. I've had an amazing holiday together with him, like a holiday of a lifetime that I never imagined I would be able to do before I got well.
Talk about what you were eating on holiday.
Yeah,
Did you?
so because of my illness, another person that helped me with the illness was naturopath to sort my diet out. Not that I ate particularly unhealthy, but certain foods do trigger flare-ups in some people. So we had a look at what I was eating and what I should and shouldn't be eating. So I'm on a very strict diet and very healthy because of it. But while I was away on holiday, I ate whatever was on the buffet, whatever I wanted off the restaurant menus. I wasn't anxious or worried at all about causing a flare up because I know that it's gone. Like, I know that I am not ill anymore. So I wouldn't eat unhealthily all the time anyway, because I think it's important to have a good diet. But during those couple of weeks on holiday, it was lovely. I just ate what I wanted. I drank what I wanted. It's amazing.
Yeah, that in itself is freedom, isn't it? Just to be able to go and eat what you want without having to worry about can't have that, or if I have that, I need to be planning tomorrow, like round the bathroom or something. It's just nice to be able to just live life with how you want to, and the freedom that you've got as well from that must be incredible.
Yeah, I think that's a key word of like how I feel now. I feel totally free to live my life in the way that I want to live it. And I'm not I went on a cruise. That's something that I wouldn't have thought I'd be able to do, because basically you're at sea. So if you get ill, there's nowhere to go. There's no hospitals anywhere nearby. You're at sea and you have to manage the symptoms. But that wasn't ever a concern when I booked it. I was just like, no, I'm well now. There's no reason to worry.
That's amazing. That's so different. If you told, I can't remember when it was, a couple of years, is it, when we started working to when we first worked
Yeah,
together?
I think so.
If I told you that, in 2 years' time, you'll be on a cruise and you'll be with a really lovely man doing that, you'd have just laughed at me, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't have believed it. Yeah.
And how calm you are as well. That the energy of you is just so calm and relaxed. That's so different as well.
Yeah, I do feel very very centered, like grounded now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So some people may be nervous about investing in themselves, Andrea, or they may never have invested in themselves before in their own health, and they might be sitting on the fence. What would you say to that person about working with me?
I totally understand the sitting on the fence. I think that we're brought up in a society that tells you if you're ill, you go to the doctors, and the doctor will diagnose you and they'll write you a prescription. If the prescription medication doesn't work, then you go back to the doctors, they change it, or they give you more of the same. So when you've got that in your head, it's really hard to consider alternative therapies and like ways of healing. So I do understand the sitting on the fence thing. But I think if you're listening to this, it's because you've opened your mind just that little bit enough to let the idea sink in that there is another way to heal. So I would just say, like, what have you got to lose? Really, I mean, money is just energy, and if you've got it, it's worth that investment. Like, I would do it all over again. I would pay double for the feeling that I've got now.
Wow.
Because it's priceless. So I couldn't afford to buy it all over again. But
you'd find a way if you needed to.
Yeah, I would find a way. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's just a priority thing, isn't it? I mean, do you prioritize your health above everything else that you need to pay for? I mean, because without your health, like, what is the point of having all the other things?
That's right. You can't live the life you want if you haven't got your health, can you?
No.
That's wonderful. So why would you recommend working with me specifically?
Because I don't think that there's anybody else that's got your skill set and your life experience together. And I think that's invaluable. That's like, that makes you so relatable and easy to speak to. You're not just working from a textbook, like you've lived it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you just like, I feel like you've just got a gift. Like you seem to know intuitively what you need to say to bring out the issue and to clarify what was happening around that time and why things are happening. It's like that's an understanding that I think people can't learn in a classroom. I think that's just been given to you so that you can help other people. It's natural.
I'd agree with you actually, because I'm never stuck for what I need to say. It just comes to me. I just know that, like, oh, and isn't it funny? And I'm piecing those things together and like, oh, isn't it curious that now is the same as you were when you were 5? It's not the same situation, but can you see how the emotions are so similar? And then it's about breaking that pattern by empowering the you that is now into so that you're free from the pain that you felt as a 5-year-old or whenever it was, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so yes, that's a really good point. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think just going back to like people like not being sure about this and sitting on the fence. I think one thing that you said to me that kind of like opened the door a little bit wider for me is like, I think you mentioned in the first instance the placebo effect. And I think if you can believe that, you know, like there's been studies to say that some people take a pill and it's not the medication, it's a placebo, and they still get well because they've taken it. That's their mind telling them that they are able to get well. And I think you explained that to me so much better. I'm not
You did that really well, actually.
But I think that opened the door a little bit for me to say, yes, actually, yeah, your mind does control a lot more than you realise. So if you can,
the body speaks to us in pain and symptoms, and we haven't been told that. So our digestive system is really all about what are we not stomaching. And you've got a lot, like you hinted at, your job, toxic relationships, all sorts of stuff, and that chaos because you've moved as well. So there's a lot of chaos in your life, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And all that emotion's got to go somewhere. And where did it go? In your digestive system.
Yeah.
So it was just about understanding, but it wasn't just about the now, it was all the stuff that gone through before, wasn't it, that all linked together, that created the then problem with the digestive issues. So it's just about unraveling it, going back to your personal root cause like we do with everybody else, so that you can understand it. It's quite interesting as well when you go back and think, oh, I never realised that had such an impact in my now moment, really.
Yeah, and also I think it's important to let people know that, like, with me when we were talking, I felt like there should have been a massive life event to cause this. Like I would like to say to people is if you think, oh well, I've not experienced any trauma to cause this reaction, it's like it's not always something big. It can be something very little from when you were very young and unable to process the emotions that you were feeling. And then that gets triggered by other, sometimes it seems meaningless events in your life, but it all adds up. So like, I wouldn't want people to think that they haven't been through enough to be able to like go back and unravel things. It's like it could be something very minor.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like some people might think it's very minor, but for you, your subconscious is a real big deal.
Yes, exactly. And it can often be when you're a child, when you're dependent and you haven't got life skills that you have now. So you're feeling powerless, feeling helpless, feeling out of control, feeling like you're not understood. Any of your needs not being met is trauma, any of them. And like if you weren't feeling that you were lovable in that moment, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that your parent, you can't make it mean that your parents have got their own trauma and they can't meet your needs because of their own limitations. The only thing you can make it mean is that, well, I'm not lovable because my needs aren't being met. And that is trauma in itself. So it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be being held at knife point. It can be just anything. We've all gone through those moments because none of us have had perfect lives. That doesn't happen. It's just not a possibility. So it is, like you said, it can be something that as an adult you might think, really, is that it? But it's a really key feeling of how you felt way back when.
Yeah.
That made you feel bad. Absolutely. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here today, Andrea. It's just been amazing. It's always fabulous talking to you, and I'm so happy that you've had an amazing holiday. You were able to eat whatever you wanted with the beautiful man of your life. That's just absolutely fabulous. And if I told you that 2 years ago, you'd have just laughed at me. So it's incredible. Thank you. And it just shows really what is possible, doesn't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
And it wasn't.
I do feel like I'm living a life totally beyond my wildest dreams, and that is down to your help. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And it wasn't massive amount of sessions either, was it? So, but a handful. So it's just amazing because when you work with your subconscious, you're bringing it on board, and it's not. Conscious mind is only 5%. Your subconscious mind is 95%. So why wouldn't you work with that to get to the root, to look at it and release it, and then let go of it and be Andrea, and do what you want to. It's just an amazing thing. You are such an amazing lady, and it's a pleasure knowing you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you.